Okay, so we're going to call this 2A in the Greg Trimble Book of Mormon challenge for Mormon Truth videos channel. Welcome to the Dodger Game channel, doing another Mormon Truth video. This is a highly improved, I think, version of Greg Trimble challenge, Book of Mormon challenge number 2. There are a number of improvements. First of all, I sped things up, which is helpful. I'm throwing a lot of pictures, illustrations, and so forth, even some maps. Going to be looking at some Book of Mormon evidences of what is real. Hey, Quacky, get on out of here. Alright. Oh, that's Quackoo, excuse me. Yeah, there's some of the latest here. Anyway, yeah, so let's do it. Greg Trimble says, the Book of Mormon, after all these years, has no contradictions. After all these years, somebody would have found something. But no. But yes, Greg. Trimble, love him. Seminary teacher, blogger, and super gnarly surf rat with a testimony. So in episode number 1 of the Greg Trimble Book of Mormon challenge, we checked out Greg here, and we got into basically the first 9 of the points of the recycled Hugh Nibley job of Book of Mormon challenge that Greg has issued on his blog. Greg, the seminary teacher. Greg, get back here. Look, I'm just trying to make you... There you go. There's Greg. Checking it out. So, Monday through Friday, maybe he's a seminary teacher. Early morning, that takes a lot of dedication before he does his other work. But Saturday morning, maybe he heads off early to shred the gnarly waves and get shacked at lowers. Greg did some blogging about lousy advertisements by Carl's Jr., which is probably where he parks his car when he walks in there to Trestles. Goes down to lowers, maybe. And then it's just all about being in the green room. Then he comes out a transcendent being, ready to teach. Maybe he teaches Sunday school too. Who knows? Yeah, I don't think they'd even do that to him in Riverside. Make him teach seminary and Sunday school. It's just too much. But Greg, you're too much. And your Book of Mormon challenge is too much. Too much for Big Al. Goodbye, Big Al. You're out of here. We disposed of your sidekick. It's all about Greg Trimble. And we're going to get into it. Book of Mormon stories. No contradictions. Nope. You're right, Greg. Sure. After all these years, no one could ever find any contradictions in the Book of Mormon. And so, here we go. You the man, Greg. You the man. Okay, we're going to get back into point number 10 here from Greg Trimble on gregtrimble.com and his wonderful blog, where he challenges people's thinking who could possibly imagine that the Book of Mormon might not be the authentic history of the Jaredite, Nephite, Lamanite people who came from Jerusalem to America. So we've gone through the first 9, and we a ridiculous false premise where you have to be like a mental midget to even consider these as like some kind of reasonable argument. And amazingly, the church has used to prove how Joseph Smith made the Book of Mormon. If you can't do that, it must be true. Oh, okay. You gotta be kidding me. So anyway, number 10 was, I'll reread it. How could the Book of Mormon never contradict itself while being an extremely complex book? So by the way, it says after all these years, someone would have found something, but no. Okay, we just destroyed that. The closing seconds of episode 1 on first look at this. Yeah.
That proves that these people came over from Jerusalem. So yeah, we started off with the knockout punch there in the, with the Ether chapter 3, which is supposed to be said at the time of the Tower of Babel, and Jesus appears to the brother of Jared, whose name we later learn by a patriarchal blessing revealing that it's Mahonri Morian Kumer. Yeah, and so Jesus appears to him. First he shows him his finger accidentally and doesn't realize it since he's not the all-knowing God, and he wonders why brother Jared freaked out when he saw his finger. So, because he's not the unknowing God, so he has to ask, and brother Jared tells him he was freaking out because he thought he would smite him, because he apparently doesn't think he's that loving and understanding of a God that he would smite anyone if they happened to see his finger. Then he asks if he saw more than this, and you can read it. It's in chapter 3. So anyway, they've already, brother Jared's already had some talks with the Lord, and so he decides to build the wonderful, amazing, scientifically amazing barges that are light as a dish, but somehow they stay underwater because of the waves that crash upon them in the ocean. What are they, like going over a reef to make the waves break? Apparently Joseph Smith didn't surf. Yeah, they can be big waves, but they don't necessarily crash. And so if it's light as a dish, why would it be underwater much of the time? Just because the wind's blowing. Yeah, I can understand it's dangerous. I don't even want to get into that one. So anyway, yeah, he tells him that he's the first guy that's ever seen him after he shows himself to him. First person to ever have enough faith. So then Joseph Smith comes up with the Book of Moses, and he comes up with the story of Enoch, who, 1,000 years earlier was face to face with the Lord, and the Lord likes him so much that he lives with him in the city of Zion 365 years with Enoch and all of his people. Okay. And then for some reason, did I mention that Enoch moved mountains and rivers because his faith was so incredible? But apparently that's not enough faith to see the Lord, and even though he talks with him face to face and says, as a man talketh with another face to face, like Moses chapter 7 verse 4, is it? So I do a whole video on that, so we just get into all the details, and then correlate that, or attempt to. Joseph Smith's convoluted stories are too much. So Doctrine and Covenants section 107 talks about the same patriarchs from Adam through Methuselah, and then they all hang out at Adam-on-Diamond, when Adam's 927 years old. So what, about 800 years before this brother of Jared scene? And so all the same people that were in the city of Zion for the last 240 years, now suddenly they are in Adam-on-Diamond in Missouri. And Jesus appears to them, which is for some reason a big deal after he's been living with all the same people for the last 240 years. Because that's, all the righteous descendants of Adam were at this marvelous gathering at Adam-on-Diamond, which would be the same people that would be in the city of Zion, because it was the most righteous people, which is also amazing. Because the city's translated, it says there, when it's 430, it says translated in Doctrine and Covenants 107. Verse 54, it says that Jesus came and visited them, and the Lord appeared to them. Okay, so he publishes this after he's published the Book of Mormon, in which he's already declared that no one's ever seen him before 2200 BC, at the time of the Tower of Babel, it says. So this is, so this Adam-on-Diamond and Zion business, face-to-face with the Lord, hangs out with them, and the Book of Mormon says it never happened. He'd never shown himself to anybody. So, never contradicts itself? Okay, it's contradicting other scriptures that Joseph Smith translated by revelation or had the Lord directly revealed to him. And it does contradict itself. And, of course, LDS.org is not going to highlight that for us. We can go searching, where we know we would never be misled. We did the gospel topic essays, introduction and some gospel topic essays, and found out that they lied about every promise that they made, and every insinuation that they made, that we'd find a well-balanced, straightforward discussion of these topics, when actually it's just a disguise for polemics and apologetics. Is nothing but complete BS filled with fluff. Anyway, so there we have an enormous contradiction. In other words, Jesus lied to the brother of Jared, or Enoch and Moses lied in the accounts that Joseph Smith translated by the gift and power of God, apparently, as he gave us the inspired version of the Bible and published, first 8 chapters of the Book of Moses. And Jesus obviously lied to him in Doctrine and Covenants 107, where he talks about the Adam-on-Diamond visit of Jesus. So, okay, sorry, Greg. Maybe you didn't read your scriptures. Okay, maybe we'll go to one of those pages, but
Okay, so let's just take a break here. We'll call this 2A. I already have one that's 2A, I think. No, I don't. I just called it 2. Revamp. So this is 2. Greg Trimble 2 on the Book of Mormon challenge. So we'll have 2A. That'll be 2B for the next half of this or whatever it is. Yeah, I think it is about another 10 minutes or something. Okay, then. So you are watching a Mormon Truth video. I'm uploading this to Mormon Truth instead of the Dodger game because it's already on there. There's one video. Yeah. Alright. Thanks for subscribing, liking, commenting in the most polite manner possible. Thanks.